In the tradition of POTICO, the Partnership for Trade, Industry and Commerce, we pride ourselves with always making sure that POTICO never ends without a roadmap on how to proceed. And at the next year's POTICO, which I hope will see many of you at, we always want to be able to say, because we deliberated on a few matters, we were able to deliver. And certainly this year, our central bank governor has raised our bar, and we must produce. We must produce this year, because it's not every year we have the privilege of having the central bank governor stay at POTICO for this long. But without much further ado, I just simply wanted to say, this is not, there's not too much protocol involved in this. Every individual must have received a one-pager. It's a one-pager on what we call POTICO, the Program for Agricultural Infrastructure Development. The Program for Agricultural Infrastructure Development. And it's an agribusiness investment strategy to achieve food security. Pretty much what this is about is, after the economic crisis, a lot of international organizations and multilateral organizations dedicated funds to help emerging markets get out of the economic crisis, to help them catapult out of the economic crisis. And we realized, of course, under the leadership of our founding partners here, the US ambassador to Nigeria, Ms. Evelyn Oputu, and First Bank of Nigeria, that there are a lot of this funding coming in for agriculture, but they're not properly being channeled. In a lot of cases, the international organizations don't even know who or how to get the funds to. So what we're proposing is that we create a fund in the sense not to raise any new monies, but create a fund to streamline the monies that have been put out there to help the emerging markets catapult out of economic crisis. Pull the funds together, and we can have a management that's made up of the policymakers, the private sector operators, and the financial houses to manage these funds, and and the operators, of course, the stakeholders, to help disseminate these funds to the right places. In doing that, we must, of course, train our lenders.
The two-day event also featured presentations from the US agencies and Bank of Industry showing their work in the agricultural sector.
If it's a smaller business, it may not make economic sense for just one business to develop this kind of solution. So if there's maybe a cluster of several smaller businesses who want to come together and form a cooperative to develop this kind of commerce solution, that's absolutely something that we can consider. I encourage anybody who is in that kind of situation to please speak to me about it.
A key aspect of what it is that we do really is cultural trade, two-way trade, U.S. agricultural trade and Nigerian agricultural trade. The market access aspect opens up the avenue for technical transfer, and that's one of the key things that has to happen to engage business-to-business interactions. Market promotion. Well, Nigeria is the biggest market in really all of sub-Saharan Africa, if you look at it. So the information has to be provided to stakeholders who may be interested in doing business here.
We're working with the River Basin Authority to work on about 40 kilometers of drainage, clear it out, let's get it functioning, and irrigate more farmland. They're very committed. Our partners there have been wonderful in mobilizing their resources and seeing the job done right. 6,000 active farmers in the area. We also have a rice mill in Kebbi State, which we anticipate will buy up that rice once it's grown.
Bank of Industry today, we have three models of financing. The first one is the cooperative cluster model, because we believe that a good number of potential and existing entrepreneurs in Nigeria have problems in getting collateral security. So because of that, we wanted to at least reach a good number of Nigerians. So because of that, we designed a program called the cooperative cluster model. And the whole idea is that wherever we have concentration of resources, we try to promote cooperative in those areas and fund them together so that they can guarantee themselves and make the security requirements as simple as possible. Apart from the cooperative cluster model, we also have what we call the SME model. That one, of course, is a little bit advanced because we're talking about 2,500. For now, we look at a total capitalization of about 500 billion naira for the SME. And to be able to access that, you must have incorporated a limited liability company and, of course, provide some basic documentation. Then, of course, the third one is large enterprises model, which is in excess of 500 billion.
So, what did participants think of POTICO 3?
I think the program is extremely apt because obviously it's talking about the agricultural industry, it's talking about adding value, and it's talking about, the effect that all of those could have on our GDP. So I think there has to be a continuous dialogue because obviously things are not constant, situations are changing, even on the global platform as well. So for us in Nigeria, we need to continue to evaluate what the needs are, what the challenges are, and how we can help our players, our domestic players, to improve and to obviously access that global platform.
I think from where we started, 2.5 years ago, it's come a long way. I think that we've been able to raise the profile of a number of things, particularly not only the importance of agriculture, but the number of programs and projects that are on ground and that are working to really help the agricultural sector. So yes, I think it's a good first step. There's still a lot to be done, but I think it's certainly a good first step.
I was here last year in my capacity as MD of First Bank, and I'm happy that we've made a lot of progress since last year. What's important, I think, is to remember, like I said earlier, that transformation does not happen overnight. It's a process that begins, and we are in the right direction. The focus is there, the strategy is there, the ideas are there. What we now need to do is to continue to implement and make progress.
We expect that at the end of this POTICO 3, that we will be one step ahead in terms of infrastructural development for agribusiness, because we have tried a lot of things in the Bank of Industry to ensure that small agribusinesses continue to grow. We do cooperatives, we also do processing of agribusiness. And if we're going to be able to continue to see an expansion in that aspect of our work, we have to ensure that the farmers themselves grow, and how best to grow about capacity building.
I look at the progress that's been made since last year's event. I am very hopeful that there will be progress at next year's event that can be reported on. There's been very good discussions about some very specific issues. It's a fantastic opportunity to get the private sector together with government and with civil society organizations like mine, Africare, to find some very practical things that can be done to try and make progress on agriculture.
They have a lot more to look forward to.
POTICO 4, what are our plans? Well, we have to do an assessment on the results and the workshops that come out of POTICO 3. And based on what we reach out from POTICO 3, we will determine how to move along POTICO 4. Over the pre-conferencing period and also through today, we've had a lot of comments on, how we should begin to look at how to do things, safely in a green way of doing things, protecting the environment.
POTICO has been delivering solutions like the Agua Resource Center, a direct deliverable of POTICO 1. The ARC opened in June last year to train Nigeria's entrepreneurs and provide the information they need to export successfully under Agua. With the CBN and other financial institutions represented at POTICO 3, there is a greater chance that the clanging of hoes and cutlasses on Nigeria's farms and the loss of 80% of farm produce in transit would be the stuff of bedtime stories.